Welcome back to the Scotti-BYTE channel, and this is Scott. So I have always liked utilities that allow you to convert files from one format to another. And Sterling PDF is one of the things that I've used for quite some time. And although I've not done a video on it, it's really a nice utility to do conversions from PDF files to other types of PDF files, or to make changes to PDF files. But that's not what I'm going to talk about today. Instead, I'm going to talk about a fairly new application. It's been around for about a year now, and it's received updates until the last few weeks ago, so I think it's still in pretty much active development. And it's called ConvertX, and it's by this author by the name of Chillin, or C4ILLIN. If we scroll down here, you can see that the last release was on June the 4th of 2025. And if we scroll down even further, it says ConvertX is a self-hosted online file converter. And it says a self-hosted online file converter supporting over 1,000 different formats, written in TypeScript and in something called Bun and Alicia. And it converts files to different formats, and it talks about all the converters that it uses in the background to achieve this, and all of the different file formats that those converters support. ConvertX is a single container Docker application that we're going to nest inside of an Incus container. If you are unfamiliar with Incus containers, go out and watch my tutorial entitled Incus Container Step by Step. Here we begin by launching a container from an Ubuntu 24.04 instance, naming it ConvertX, providing it the default profile and the bridge profile to allow it to project out into an address on my main LAN. Boot.autostart equals to true means that any time that the Incus server starts, this container starts. And finally, security.nesting equals to true means that the container can have nested Docker inside of it. Now that our new container is created, let's do an Incus shell ConvertX to move inside of the container. And whenever we create a new operating system instance, and that's what a container is, we want to go ahead and update to the latest repository and also update any applications in the operating system that require updating. Let's install the basic dependencies to nest a Docker application inside of an Incus container, and we're installing Nano, curl, net-tools, and OpenSSH server. With those dependencies installed, let's go ahead and install Docker. Now that Docker's installed, I'm going to go ahead and add myself a username with an add user Scott. I'll go ahead and give Scott a password and then blow through the rest of the prompts. Next, I want to go ahead and put Scott into the sudo group, and I'm going to do that with a usermod -a G sudo Scott. And likewise, I'm going to go ahead and put Scott into the Docker group so that I don't have to use sudo to submit Docker commands. Now let's go ahead and switch user over to the Scott account with an su --space Scott. Now that I'm on the Scott account, I'm going to go ahead and create myself a folder to put my ConvertX application in it, which is going to be a makedir on ConvertX. And then after I've done that, I'll go ahead and cd inside of the ConvertX folder. Let's do a nano uncompose.yml and go ahead and paste the contents of that file in here. The Docker file for ConvertX is pretty simple. We have the image here, and we have the container name, restart unless stopped, and then we're going ahead and exposing it to port 80 since our Incus container is not using any of the other ports. And finally, we have the environment variable for JWT_secret, which is going to be equal to a random string that we're going to generate. And then HTTP_allowed is going to be set equal to true. If you're going to host this on a domain, then you don't need to put this environment variable in here because the default of HTTP underbar allowed is going to be false, which means it assumes it's HTTPS. And finally, we have a volume which is going to be in the data folder. I'll do a Control O and Enter to write the file out and a Control X to exit the nano editor. Let's generate our random secret string with the command OpenSSL random-base6448, and it generates a 48 character string here. We'll go ahead and copy that string, and then we'll go back into the compose file, move down here to where it says random string, move past the string, erase all of that, and I do a Shift Control V to paste my key for the JW underbar secret in there. I do another Control O and Enter to write the file out, and a Control X to exit the nano editor. To download the container overlays and to create the container and start the application, we simply do it docker-compose --up-d. Once the application has started, you can do a docker ps just to make sure that the container is up and running. And you can also do a docker compose logs, and that will give you the logs. And here it says that it is started correctly. To find out where our container is running, we can simply do an ifconfig command and look for the address of ETH0. And in this particular case, it's 172.16.1.78. So if I head up to my web browser and go over here and hit enter at 172.16.1.78 in my particular case, I can then type in an email address for the administrative account. And so I'm going ahead and putting that in, and then I'm going to type in a password, and hopefully I'll remember that password, and I click on Create Account. As soon as you do a Create Account, it will go ahead and log you in. The interface for ConvertX is remarkably simple, and you can either click on the area that it has there to add a file, or you can drag and drop a file in there. In this particular case, I dragged and dropped a file called hacameras.png. And then you can click on the search for conversions, and it will give you a drop down here, and you can scroll through it to see all of the different types of conversions it supports. And it supports quite a few. In this particular case, I have a PNG file, and I'm going to go ahead and convert that to a JPEG file. By clicking JPEG, I can now click Convert, and it will say that it has converted it. And then over here, I can click the download, and when I click download, it will go ahead and download it, and it says done. I can click on my downloaded files, and there it is in fact completed. If I head over to my downloads folder and double click on that document, I can drag my file over here, and that is in fact the file that was a PNG, and now I have a version of it that is converted into a JPEG. To convert another file, you can simply click on the ConvertX in the upper left-hand corner. It will go back to that main screen again, and this time I will drag and drop an MKV file in there, which is a video. And then I click Search for Conversions, and my MKV file has a number of different conversions that I can convert to. But let's scroll down here and see what makes sense. And I think that using FFmpeg makes sense. So I can convert that to an H264 MKV as one option I have. And I'm looking through here for something that really makes sense. Maybe we could convert to something like an MP4. So there's MP4. So I can convert my MKV file into an MP4. I click convert, and it will go off and say converting. After a minute or two, it converted my video file into an MP4. I can click download and it will say that it is done downloading. And when I double click the MP4 file and play it, as I mentioned earlier in the show note, it will go ahead and play the converted file. If I head back up to the main menu by clicking ConvertX again, I was surprised to find that this is even capable of converting PDF files. So there I've clicked a PDF file. When I click search for conversions, I have a number of different options, but let's suppose that I convert my PDF file into a JPEG. So I click JPEG and then I click convert. It says that it is converted, and now I click download, and it says that the download is now complete. And when I double click the converted JPEG file, here it is, and it shows that file, which is a single page JPEG that's been converted from a PDF file. ConvertX is a graphic and video conversion file utility, and the best thing that I like about it is because there are a lot of utilities available out on the web, and they just require you to drag and drop your files on them, convert them, and allow you to download. But I don't like the idea of sending my data out onto some web service somewhere where I can self-host my own conversion utility. It looks to me like ConvertX is being actively developed, and I'm looking forward to seeing what improvements happen in the near future. Anyway, hopefully you'll find this utility useful in your home lab. So thanks for watching today, and please subscribe and like to the channel, and don't forget to hit your notification bell, and we'll see you next time.